what is the difference between participial and gerund phrases? So last week, we were talking about participial phrases. They end in ing, they end in ed. They start at the beginning of the phrase. They act as an adjective. Okay, just looking at the definition here, and I took this right from your grammar packet, your painting with participles packet. A gerund phrase ends in ing and acts as a noun. Skateboarding is my favorite activity. I love swimming in the summer. That's okay. So, what is the difference between participial and gerund phrases? Just take a look, take 30 seconds. Just looking at the definition. What is the difference between the two? In order to find the difference, we first have to look at what's the same. So identify what's the same, and then try to figure out how and why are gerund phrases different than participial phrases. Just think about it. And then we'll be applying it in just 1 second. Okay. What do we got for similarity? What do they have in common? Yes. They both end in ing. Awesome. What else do they have in common? Phil. They both don't function as verbs. Awesome. Anything else? They're both obviously part of grammar. They're both phrases. So we have phrases that end, they start with the word ing. They both don't act as verbs. How are they different? Going off of what Phil just said, how are they different? Mackenzie? Great. A participial acts as an adjective. A gerund acts as a noun. So let's do, and this is what you're going to do in your grammar and vocab section of your binder. Try using the word studying as both a participial phrase and a gerund phrase. How are they different? Okay? You can work with the person behind you or in front of you. Margot, you can work with those two. Okay? Just figure out how can you, and just, it's not taking a long time. So Haley, Valerie, you can work with Haley. Sid, you're going to work with Michael. Just use the word studying as both a participial and a gerund phrase. Write it right into your notebook. Yep. Not on the yellow thing, in your notebook. Yeah, it's going to be 2 sentences. 2 different sentences. Unless you can pull it off by incorporating it into one, I don't know if that's possible. Without sounding redundant.
Studying on the grade baseball team.
Studying at the library helps the teenager what?
Yeah.
Get an A. Awesome. And is that used as a noun or an adjective?
That's like recorded.
Is it the act of studying? Yes. Okay, so is that a noun or an adjective? Why? No, okay, so but it's right for one of them. So like look at the second example. It says skateboarding is my favorite activity. If you could incorporate that, skateboarding can help someone get an A. That's a noun. It's what skateboarding is. So studying is like the act of studying. It's a noun. So I need some. Do you need a writing utensil? Okay. And then on the flip side, and what we worked on last week is all by itself. So you could say like, studying for an exam, comma, the girl fell asleep at her desk.
Studying for my
I don't know.
Studying.
Thanks for filling that out.
Yes, when it comes to
When you're finished, Just both face front, so I know that your group is done. Once you're facing front, do the trick. Okay, so we thought of a trick for participial phrases. You can remove participial phrases. If I remove this participial phrase, what happens to the sentence? If I take out walking down the street, the teenager was mistaken for a hoodlum. It's still a sentence, okay? So you can remove participial phrases and it's still a sentence. Let's try the same thing with the gerund phrase. If I take out swimming in the summer, is that still a sentence? No. So this is an essential part of the sentence. So I want you to look at your two as you're finishing up. Look at your two and see if you can do this trick. Okay, so you cannot remove a gerund phrase in a sentence. You can't just say, I love. I love what? So do the test, and then I'm going to ask for 2 examples of each from your groups. And then we'll move on. No. I'm just going to ask for 2. Great. Try the trick. Just take 20 more seconds. Okay. So I need 2 examples of participial phrases using the word studying. It doesn't matter which partner shares. Just 2 examples from the whole class. Jake.
Studying all night, the student got no sleep.
Studying all night, what punctuation?
Oh,
Comma. The student got no sleep.
Was that supposed to say?
No, that was perfect. But it's something to think about because we don't use commas when we use them as gerunds. So that's just another layer of this that we're doing. So studying all night, comma, the student didn't get very much sleep, and I may have been paraphrasing. Can you take studying all night out of Jake's sentence? Read your sentence without the participial phrase.
The student got no sleep.
The student got no sleep. Great. Does that make sense? Yes. Give me another one.
Studying in the library, the girl was mistaken for a college student.
Studying in the library, comma, the girl was mistaken for a college student. So Taylor, take out that first part and see if it's still a sentence. Just read the rest of it.
The girl was mistaken for a college student.
The girl was mistaken for a college student. Awesome. Okay, let's take a look. Let's flip sides here and go to gerunds. This is a new territory, so don't be nervous. If you get it wrong, it doesn't matter because we're just initially exploring this.
Studying is my least favorite activity to do.
Studying what? Well, let's make it into a phrase.
Math.
Studying math is my least favorite thing to do. Okay, awesome. Let's see if we can take studying math out. Just read the rest of your sentence if you take studying math out.
Is my least
Thanks,
favorite
Mark.
activity to do.
Thanks, honey. Is my least favorite activity to do. Is that a sentence? No. It's missing the subject. So a gerund becomes the subject. Let's test it with another one. Another group that hasn't shared yet. Thanks, Christian.
I thought studying is awesome, especially in Miss Barnhart's class.
Studying is awesome. Studying what? Studying everything is awesome, especially in Miss Barnhart's class. Okay, so let's take out studying everything. What would Christian's sentence be? Is awesome, especially in Miss Barnhart's class. That is not a complete sentence. Okay, so it acts as a noun or often the subject, or in this case, it's the predicate, part of the predicate of the sentence. Okay, if you're going back to like elementary times. So that's just an initial kind of study. We're going to continue with gerunds this week. Are there any clarifying questions for gerunds right now? No. Okay. So, what we're going to do today is, I want everyone to take a look up, I'm going to turn on the light for a second. Up to this red thing here. As you know, we are in the midst of reading To Kill a Mockingbird, so we are going to be through the end of part 1 on, for this class, let's look at our syllabus, on Thursday, okay? Even though on your syllabus it says 19, it's really just the 10th, okay? So on Thursday. I had you read over the weekend about Kohlberg's moral stages of development. How does it have anything to do with literature when it's a psychological thing? Yes?
Maybe the main character and how they're psychologically developed.
Yeah, if we look at a main character and see how they're psychologically developed through the lens of an outside source, it helps us understand the character better. So we could take any of the characters that we've studied so far. We could even take some of the characters that we've read, just like Chinua Achebe or Seamus Haney, that are like real people, and look at some of the ways that they perceive the world and see where are they developmentally in the way that they see the world. So how can applying our knowledge of Kohlberg's stages of moral development help us understand the behavior of not only literary characters, but also ourselves? So it's not just about Scout or Atticus or Calpurnia or any of the people that are in our book, any of the characters, right? It's going to be also about ourselves. So that's what we're exploring today. What I'm going to do right now is erase this. I'd like you to get out your cell phones. Those of you that have one with you and you have texting capabilities, get them out. I'm going to give you a new choice of numbers. So I'm going to read you a scenario. Okay, I'm going to read you this scenario and then I'm going to give you a couple of different codes to use, okay, for your texting. Again, we're using this phone as an educational resource. So if you get a call from your mom in the middle of this or a text from your mom, please refrain from answering it because this is just about this, okay? So what I want you to think about is at the end there's a question. And I simply want you to be able to answer in your own mind, yes or no. And I'm going to give you two different codes, one for yes, one for no, right? In Europe, a woman was near death from a special kind of cancer. There was one drug that the doctors thought might save her. It was a form of radium that a druggist in the same town had recently discovered. The drug was relatively inexpensive to make, but the druggist was charging 10 times what the drug cost him to make. He paid $200 for the radium and charged $2,000 for a very small dose of the drug. The sick woman, the woman that has this rare form of cancer, her husband Heinz went to everyone he knew to borrow the money, but he could only get together about $1,000, which is only half of what it cost. He told the druggist that his wife was dying and asked him to sell it cheaper or let him pay later. But the druggist said, no, I discovered the drug and deserve to make money from it. So Heinz got desperate and broke into the man's store to steal the drug for his wife. Okay? So on your cell phones, I just want you to, oh, by the way, for our initial one, this was the question was, I love English. True or false? And you all said true, that's amazing. Oh. All right, so just simply text in this new number If you think, yes, Heinz should have stolen the drug, type in 23741. If you do not think that Heinz should have stolen the drug, just type in 23806. Okay?
So like a long answer one? No. Just got it.
Okay, so one person's in. Nice. Just check if you should he have stolen the drug? Was it right? This is a moral question. Don't let other people's answers determine your answer.
Wow.
Christian.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How old?
Just go with the scenario. Heinz's wife has a rare form of cancer. There's a doctor in town that has the capability of giving them the drug. He offered to pay partial amount of it and or pay like in installments. So far I have 13 of you.
Seems cool.
Right? Isn't it wonderful? Now we're definitely going to start incorporating this more into our classes. Only in that it allows for anonymity. What does it mean to be anonymous?
No one knows who you are.
No one knows who you are. So if you feel, because oftentimes in class, if we feel different than the rest of the class, we don't want to raise our hands and let anyone know that because it puts us on the spot. So this is a level of anonymity for us to be able to kind of see how our class is. Yes?
I remember back in seventh grade, my teacher did this, but like he used to have it where you could actually like text and answer, like you could type something.
That is also a capability. Heather?
We did the same thing in math.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I have 16 people. Is anyone else waiting still to put in? All right. This at least gives us a little bit of some idea of where we are. So on the little yellow slip of paper that is connected to your desk, I just want you to write, so you have a Post-it note, a big Post-it note. I just want you to write how you would justify your answer. How do you justify, if you said, yes, Heinz should have stolen the drug, why do you think that? And if you think, no, he should not have stolen the drug, then why do you think that? Really give specific justification. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the scenario back up on the board in case you need to look back into it. Take 30 more seconds to write your justification. Be as specific as possible. Five more seconds. Okay. Just finish up the thought you're on. It's okay if it's not finished. What I'd like you to do is, with the same person that you worked with during our grammar activity, just switch your Post-it note with them. Nope, you do not need to put your name on it. Switch your Post-it note with the person behind you. Now, the person, once you get the Post-it note, just take a second and read through your partner's justification, just quietly. Then I'm going to give each person an opportunity to kind of talk it out rather than write it out. Okay? So just read through what they wrote. Then flip your chair all the way around, face your partner. What I would like you to do, I'll tell you once you flip around. Flip your chair around, face your partner. Quickly, quickly. Okay. Each person, settle in, it shouldn't take that long. Each person is going to have 1 minute to discuss their answer. Okay, you have their Post-it note. If they say anything in addition to what they wrote down, just record it on their Post-it note. Okay, who can tell me back what the directions are? Phil.
You discuss your answer and then record any new things that you say.
You record your own.
No, somebody else's.
Can you clarify that?
The person who wrote on there.
So, okay, so your partners.
Yeah.
Right. So, you have your partner's Post-it note. As they're talking, you just want to record what they're adding to their explanation. Now, as a recorder, you are silent. You're not asking questions. You're not asking reaching questions. You're not acting as one of those people that's saying, oh, really? Why do you think that? You're simply just listening. Now, for you to talk for 1 minute, it will feel like an eternity. We've done this before where you have to talk and the other person just listens. But try to really justify what you're doing. Stretch yourself in your explanation, okay? So people on the inside circle, right here. So Coley all the way through Clayton. You're going to talk first, and the outside of the U is just going to record, okay? Go ahead, you have 1 minute.
Okay.
Only one person in the group is talking.
I
Go.
think that this movie's ways to steal it because the guy has a cure for cancer. He's like not letting everybody have it. Yeah, it's like a big
So you are talking.
that for everybody. He's just trying to make like a big profit off like really important. Oh yeah,
Keep talking.
So
30 more seconds. Keep
the
justifying.
only way, the only way that he would be able to see he should have been robbed by is because that the clients robbed it for his wife. Because
10 more seconds.
yeah.
Okay, switch partners.
For me,
You guys can do half a minute. Okay, here we go. Next partner talks, the other person simply listens and records. Go. So Michael, it's your turn to justify.
so he wasn't.
Okay.
Keep talking. If you think you're done, keep stretching yourself.
I would also.
10 seconds. All right, if you ladies need to take a little Okay, from that discussion, this is going to create sort of like the jumping off point for the rest of the day. So what I want you to do is keep your partner's Post-it note just right on your desk, put it to the side, we will come back to it. But keep all of that kind of like justification and thought process in mind. If the inner you could just flip your chairs back quietly, and we'll move on to the next one.
Is that
Okay, so each of you, if you were absent on Friday, you got it today. If you were, and that's okay. You don't absolutely have to have read it to work today. It will have helped immensely to do so. So before we started, during our entrance activity, I asked you to get out your Kohlberg's Moral Stages of Development worksheet or handout and put it on your desk. So please just get that out now. Looks like this, Kohlberg Stages of Moral Development. I'm going to set the timer. I just want you to take 1.5 minutes. That's it. 1.5 minutes to just look over the stages of moral development. So you've already, your focus for reading was to differentiate what made each stage slightly different from the other, okay, in terms of the meat of it, about what was going on in there and why people made decisions. So take a second to look over your, not a second, 1.5 minutes to look over your Kohlberg stages of moral development. Your focus question is right at the top there, the task if you forgot. Okay, just finish up looking, reviewing what you need to. Just take a few more seconds. And what I'd like you to do is simply at the bottom of the last page, jot down any questions that lingering questions that you have about any of the stages or Kohlberg in general. Everyone needs to jot down questions that they have about either one of the stages, or maybe just conceptually like, why did he ever come up with this? So everyone has a pen or pencil out, flipping on the back, looking at the bottom. Just write lingering questions that you have about Kohlberg, his stages of moral development, or why we're studying it, okay? Everyone should have at least one question written down.
What if you don't make much of statements?
Statements,
Yeah.
that's fine. You could, if you don't have a question and you feel really good about the material, then why don't you create maybe more of a higher level thinking? Like, what would the implications of this be in a court system? You know, if a prisoner comes in and says, well, he stole my cat, so I punched him in the face. What does the judge have to think about in that situation? Not that that would really be necessarily in the court system, but something like that. So think of higher order thinking if you already know the understanding and knowledge kind of part, okay? Yes. That's fine. Write it down. Well, maybe like, what is this all about? If you work here, you have different kinds of questions, right? And by the end of this class, we're hoping to answer those. If you're finished writing your questions, keep looking over that document while everyone else is finishing up. Yes. Yes, of course. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, now that you've kind of looked over that document and thought about some of those things, I'm going to show you a trailer to a movie. You guys might have seen it, or I'm not really sure. But I want you simply to focus on what you see in the trailer. This movie, and I'm going to have you make some guesses before we watch it. This movie is very similar conceptually to the Heinz scenario, where Heinz just didn't have the money to be able to help someone that he loved. Has anyone ever seen a movie or heard of a movie? Les Miserables, awesome. He stole a loaf of bread to save his sister. What else?
And how we watched a movie about a boy with cancer, and the other boy was his best friend, stole a plant to try to make cancer.
Okay, so a friend of a boy stole a plant in order to help a friend of his treat cancer.
In the Hunger Games, Katniss kind of like stole the bread, or like, what was it, or something, he like gave her bread, and she took that to feed her, and friend or not really.
So Peter Millark in the book, The Hunger Games, or in the movie, if you've seen the movie, he purposefully burns bread to feed Katniss, who is from a family that doesn't have as much in their district. Phil? How about you list the movie and you explain? Go ahead, Phil.
Are you like, he's working for all like the people that can't really like help themselves?
Who is?
Robin Hood is.
Robin Hood works for people that he steals to help the people that can't do it. There's like a new TV show, I think, kind of about that, like a high-powered business guy that does like a modern Robin Hood. Has anyone seen this? I don't know. Yeah, maybe like a secret millionaire. This movie is different than that, but I want you to look in that same vein so you're making connections. All I want you to do is look at this clip and figure out this guy, his name is John Q. He does something. I just want you to figure out what moral stage of development is he in when he does this. What moral stage of development is John Q in when he does this? So everyone needs to have this out in front of them. Everyone needs to be focused up on the screen and focused on the trailer, okay? Because we're going to be looking at what moral stage of development is John Q in.
This is Lieutenant Frank Grimes of Chicago Police Department. Are you the man in charge?
That's right.
Well, who am I speaking to?
John Q.
I assume since all the doors are locked, this is a hostage situation. Is that correct?
Let me from the person. I know you do things your own way.
Blood pressure is dropping fast. He's going into cardiac arrest.
I don't understand.
Mike's heart is useless. He's going to need a transplant or he's going to die.
You make Mike so sick.
Transplant surgery is very expensive.
We got insurance.
There are no provisions in your policy for a procedure of this magnitude.
All right, you want money? I'll get you the money. We've recently switched carriers.
We only give assistance to patients without coverage. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Have you tried Medicaid?
No, you don't qualify. My son is dying. I'm broke. If I don't qualify, who the hell does?
I've done everything I can do. I'm sorry.
Please.
They are releasing him. tonight. You need to do something. I'll take care of it. Do something.
The hospital's under new management now. Everybody does exactly what I say, nobody will get hurt. Or hurt. I want my kid's name on the donors list.
This is gonna end up bad for you, John. Police will do whatever's necessary to preserve the lives of these hostages.
They're telling me I gotta take my son home and watch him die.
If you could speak to John Q right now, what would you say to him? I'm there with you, and you take care. 5:15, Frank. Something happens for me.
Are you praying for her, baby? Yes, I'm praying, sweetheart. He's a good kid. You'd like him.
I'm not gonna bury my son. I got a shot at this guy, and I'm gonna take him. My son is gonna bury me.
Take the shot.
How's it gonna end, John?
I don't know.
Okay, so, what I would like to do with your partner or your group of three, your triad, turn to them and just decide, where is John Q in his decision making? Where is John Q in his decision making?
That's stage 2.
Well, actually, 1, 5, and 6. Okay. I'll give you those choices since you're just now.
The lack of respect for the race of others.
Six because it's everybody's equal and there's equal.
Yeah.
No.
Got it. I know, I've seen it like 3 times.
It's also known as Snakes on Swings, starring Samuel
It's
L.
not snakes on that.
No, like I said, tonight, he's about to come, and it's like one of those stupid endings. And like, you're gonna go off, and he walks out, he's still alive. Like, what? No, he's completely fine. The movie's great.
2002.
The ending is just
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to poll, but just kind of informally. How many people put him in stage 1? Okay, if we look at stage 1, respect for power and punishment. The young child decides to do what is right according to what he or she wants to do and can do without getting in trouble. Did anyone put him in stage 1? Why wouldn't we put him in stage 1? How about we raise our hands? Rachel. He's not a young kid. So that leaves the question, do Kohlberg's moral stages of development only happen when they're in that little stage? Think of a time in your life that you still do something where you know if you can get away with it, then you do something wrong. As a 16-year-old kid, do you do this? I see lots of smiles. Okay, so Rachel brings up a great point. Does it have to be because he's between 1 and 5? No. So let's keep going with that. Why isn't he in stage 1? Noel.
Without getting in trouble.
Without getting in trouble. He knows he's getting in trouble. You don't take a hospital hostage, a whole hospital and doctors, and know that you're not going to get in trouble. Okay? So let's look at the next stage. Looking out for number 1. Children tend to be self-serving, or people in this stage tend to be self-serving. They lack the respect for the rights of others, but may give to others on the assumption that they will get much more in return. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. What's in it for me? Did anyone put him in this one? Could we put him in this one? Let's see, what can we use to do this one? Is he being self-serving? How can we say, yes, he's being self-serving? Think about taking a hospital for hostage.
Well, I was gonna say like it was gonna help him because it's his kid that he's helping.
Yep.
Like he might get like power, like feel powerful. I know that's not the best way to look at it.
Well, he might get power from that. Is he thinking about those other people that are in the hospital beds?
No. Somebody else could do it.
Okay, so perhaps Perhaps, maybe we could put him in stage 2. Stage 3, being a good boy or nice girl. Does he care about what other people think? Who does he do it for?
Son.
His son, and who else asked him? His wife. Conceivably, we could put him in stage 3 at part of this. Stage 4, law and order thinking. They feel obligated to conform no longer to just family and friends, but to society's laws and customs. I will do my duty. I will pay my debt to society. Very difficult to justify him in that one. Justice through democracy. Did he go through specific steps to try to do it the right way? Give me evidence from the film. Give me 3 pieces of evidence, raising your hands. 1 piece of evidence.
He went to the doctors and tried to reason.
He went to the doctor and tried to reason with them. Haley.
He tried selling stuff.
He tried selling things. He tried pawning a diamond ring. And then we saw them carrying all of that furniture out. Okay? Give me 1 more thing that he tried to do. Taylor? He was begging. I mean, a lot of people. And maybe presumably like the leader of the hospital or something like that. He went to Medicaid. He went to Medicare. He tried to go through all of the right steps. But he, as it said on the trailer, there was no choice for him. Okay? And then stage 6, deciding on basic moral principles by which you live your life and relate to everyone fairly. These rather rare people have considered many values and have decided on a philosophy of life that guides their own life. They follow their emotion, they do not even to their own emotions, intuition, or impulsive notions about right or wrong. Stage 6 people carefully choose basic principles to follow. Might be the golden rule. I am true to my values. How many of your groups put him in stage number 6? How many put it in stage number 5? Okay? Now, let's think about 6. How can we convince someone that he's not in stage number 6? Margot?
Well, he's not really treating everyone fairly, necessarily.
Can you expand on that, Heather? Why isn't he treating everyone fairly? Oh, you weren't here for it. You were in the bathroom. Let's see. Who hasn't spoken much? Mackenzie.
Like all the other people in the hospital.
Okay. He's putting all the other people in the hospital at risk. Does he cater to his own impulsive notions about right and wrong?
I had a question.
Please.
But he's not really gonna shoot the people in the hospital.
He is not.
Yeah, he's just kind of doing it as scared of the police.
Correct.
So technically, he's not really doing anything wrong.
Technically, he's not doing anything wrong. Okay, so this is actually a great segue. So keep in mind all of these things. I'm going to give cards to people. I won't make you stand because you're okay. You guys could come up to the front with your cards. Right behind here. Okay, each one of these people has in their hand a statement by someone who saw this and thinks something about John Q's actions. Okay? We're going to place them in the right stage. So, it doesn't matter. Let's start with Heather. Heather, read yours, and looking at your sheet, we have to figure out, we have to physically place Heather, not pick her up, but put her in which stage she is. Okay? Go ahead.
If John Q knew he wouldn't go to jail, he should have done it.
If John Q knew he wouldn't go to jail, he should have done it. Let's just think on it for a second. Where should we put Heather? If he knew he wasn't going to go to jail, then he should have done it.
Wait, but he did do it.
Just the situation, right? We're being, it's okay. Clayton Minute.
Stage 2.
Stage 2. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
Disagree as in stage 1 because he's not getting in trouble and he's doing what is right for his son.
He's doing what is right for his son, and he's worried about, as long as he knows he's not going to get in trouble, he's doing it. Coley, what were you going to say? So Coley agrees with stage 1. Clayton, are you convinced, or are you still in stage 2?
Yeah, I'm right.
Okay, stage number 1. Great. So Heather, please stand on number 1. Sydney.
Even though it's against the law, John Q did the right thing in an unjust system.
Even though it's against the law, John Q did the right thing in an unjust system, and he would have done it for anyone. John Q, in an unfair system, did the right thing, and he would have done it for anyone. Take a look at your stages. Taylor Day.
I was thinking stage 3.
Stage 3, why?
Because it says that, can you say unjust system, so like choose to do it, just be like good?
Okay, but if you're being good and you're breaking the law, you're going against the law, are you being good? Okay. Keep thinking. What stage might she be in? Stage 5, why? Okay, is Sydney Reachers again, is Sydney trying to change the law?
Even though it's against the law, John Q did the right thing in an unjust system.
No, but why did you say never mind?
Because he's not trying to change the law, he's just going against it.
He's just going against it. Phil, what was your theory?
I was gonna say 5 too, but no.
So if he was going to do this for anyone, John Q would have done it for his son, someone else's son, another person. What is he living by?
Consistent.
He's consistent, even though he's breaking the law. Noel?
I think it's stage 4.
Why? You think on that, Haley.
Stage 6, it's like the same thing.
Can you speak up just a little bit? Stage 6 because
It's like his beliefs, but it might be against the law.
his beliefs, he believes they're right, they're going against the law, and it's something that he's not letting his emotion necessarily, according to this person, he's not letting his emotion go to it. Okay, so stage 6, have a stand on stage 6. Great. Michael?
John Q is really just pleasing his wife and his son, so it's okay.
John Q is just really pleasing his wife and his son, so it's okay. Take a look at your stages. John Q is only really just pleasing his wife and his son. Christian?
I think stage 3 because it says he shifted from pleasing himself to pleasing important others.
Okay, Margot? You agree?
Yeah.
And Rachel?
Stage 2.
Why?
Because they're self-serving.
They're self-serving, but is it about what's right for him?
What is it, son? It's son's guy.
Or is it what's right for other people? He's seeking approval of what other people want. You could stick to your guns. Keep explaining, stage 2. Look at that question. What's in it for me? Is that what he's about? What's in it for him?
No.
What is he doing it for? His son, right, and his wife. Okay, so let's do stage 3. Michael, have a step on stage 3. Let's do Valerie.
John Q could have gone to a lawyer and followed the law.
John Q could have gone to a pro bono lawyer and followed the law to get this done. I mean, he went to Medicare. He seemingly went through all the steps, but he could have gone to a pro bono lawyer and just followed the law like he was supposed to. Pro bono means for free. Yeah, for free. Okay, so a pro bono lawyer, like if you don't have any money, you can go to a lawyer and they'll do it for free. So this is actually a great springboard into what we're going to be reading in part 2 of To Kill a Mockingbird when Atticus Finch takes on work pro bono. for a certain client that is a victim of the Jim Crow South. Okay? So just as John Hugh is a victim of his society and his system, the guy that we're going to be reading about, Tom Robinson, is going to be a victim of his own system. So what stage are we in here? Taylor Day.
Stage 4.
Stage 4. Who agreed with stage 4? Coley, why?
Because he's not, well, he is doing it because of family and him, but it's not just anyone, he's doing it because it's like right.
He's doing it because it's right, it's the law, he's doing his duty. He should go to the lawyer, he should do what's right, okay? Is there any part of I'll live by my rules or try to change them? Did anyone think stage 5? No. All right. So have a stand on number 4. Okay. Next. Who's next? Taylor.
John Hugh should do what's best for him and his family. It's really the system that's totally not him.
Okay. He should do what's right for him and his family. He's not pleasing his family, but he's doing what's right for his family. He does what's right for his family and he'll get the reward for it. Mackenzie, which one do you think? So we have stage 1 is done, stage 3 is done, stage 4 is done, and stage 6 is done.
5.
Stage 5. He's doing what's right for his family. Justice through democracy. I'll live by the rules or I'll try to change them. You can phone a friend. Rachel.
Stage 2, because he's just helping his family. And he's kind of self-serving because he's doing it for, he's not helping anybody else. He's helping
Just himself and his, like, what he feels is just, which is saving his son's life. Great. And last but not least, Courtney.
It's against the law for John Hugh to take the hospital hostage, of course he should.
It's against the law. So this one is going to not go in stage 5 because there wasn't a good way of going through stage 5 in this way. So it's somewhere else. Read it again.
It's against the law for John Hugh to take the hospital hostage, of course he shouldn't.
Of course you shouldn't. It's against the law. Simple. Boom, boom, boom. Stage 4. Awesome. Okay? So why couldn't he be in stage 5? If you don't like the rules, then work to change them through the correct system. What were the circumstances of his son's sickness that would not allow him to be a stage 5?
Because he just didn't have the money.
He didn't have the money or the time. Can he change hospital policy over time? Policy takes a long time. We live in the United States. We can see how long it takes for policy to change, right? I mean, if we had a dictatorship, it could change in one day. But here, we go through democracy. And that justice and democracy takes a long time. His son was in a position where he was going to die. He couldn't take that. Okay? Thanks, guys. If you could just leave your things right there, that would be awesome. Okay. So to sort of finish up, I would like you to look at the Post-it note in front of you. The Post-it note in front of you. You have your partner's Post-it note and the one that you took down. I want you to read through what their explanation was. And I want you to figure out what stage were they in? What stage were they in? And just write it down at the bottom of the Post-it note.
Just write the stage.
Yep, write the stage down. Okay, when you have what stage you think that you're in, I want you to take a look up at the screen, get your cell phones out again, and I want you to text in where your partner is. Now again, the beauty of this is that it's anonymous. You have to judge based on what they said and what they wrote, what stage of moral development was their justification. Now we talked about, just if they're in stage 1, it doesn't mean they're a 4-year-old, just means that's how they felt about that particular situation. Okay, so take your cell phone out. Take your cell phones out and text in where we think the person was in the way that they answered their question. Okay, we have 13 results in. Keep going. 14. $15. Are we waiting on anyone else? Okay. Whoop. Oh, a couple. All right. So nobody so far in stage 1. And what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this and remember it. Okay. This is interesting. Now, just because in this particular situation we put ourselves in being right and good, I didn't intend to hurt anyone. I wanted to be nice, etc. We'll talk about this now. Before you totally pack up, go back to the questions on the back of your moral stages of development worksheet. Go back to those questions. Are any of those questions unanswered after today's work?
No.
If any of those questions are unanswered after today's work, please raise your hand. I'm going to have you write them on an exit slip. Okay? If you have unanswered questions, just quickly write them on the exit slip, and I will answer them tomorrow for us, okay, before we start. Because tomorrow we're going to apply this to what we see so far in in part 1 of To Kill a Mockingbird. As people are starting to make decisions, moral decisions in To Kill a Mockingbird, we can use this information. We can use this information to answer this question. How can applying our knowledge of these stages help us understand the behavior of these characters? Okay? I'll take Clayton will collect the Post-it notes. Does anyone else have a question, a lingering question? I'll answer these questions as an entrance activity tomorrow. Okay? Thank you, thank you.
Jake Sparrow.
I stopped the burning.
Oh.